How to make sex fun again. Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be talking about how to make sex fun again. This is a video I've been thinking about making for a long time, and I've never gotten around to it. It's never really made the cut. However, I think it's one that really does need to be made, because one of the things that I see is couples who've been together for a while, they tend to sort of lose that spark. Sex becomes sort of routine. It's not that fun. One partner or the other isn't that interested in it anymore, and they can't seem to figure out how to get back on track. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to give you some practical, actionable things that you can do to make sex fun again, so that when you think about having sex, you're like, yeah, I can't wait to do that. I'm excited about it. It's fun. It's something I really want to do. But before I do that, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Doing so really helps the YouTube algorithms and helps more people see my videos. I'm all about getting quality educational information around sex, love, and relationship out there. But if nobody sees it because YouTube doesn't show it to them, then it's not helping as many people as it could be helping. So by liking, sharing, and subscribing, it tells the algorithm to show it to more people, and I really appreciate that. I am Kevin Anthony, and I'm a certified sexologist, Tantra Counselor, NLP Practitioner, and sex, love, and relationship coach. And for over a decade, I have been helping men, women, and couples have the relationship of their dreams and the best sex of their lives. All right, let's dive in. Number one, if you want sex to be fun, you have to take the pressure off. One of the things I see is that couples just put too much pressure on what sex has to be, or, what we have to do during sex, or how it has to look, or, whatever it is. And the more pressure you put on, whether it's one partner or the other or both together, the less fun things are. If you really think about it, some of the most fun times you've ever had in your life, you would describe them as sort of like the carefree days, right? So the idea is take the pressure off. Sex doesn't have to be any certain way. It doesn't have to be any certain thing. It doesn't have to get to any particular destination. Just enjoy the fact that you're even connecting through sex. So take that pressure off. Number two is to change up the routine. Another thing that I see in couples that have been together for a long time is their sex becomes routine, where it's like, okay, first I go down on you, then you go down on me, then we penetrate in missionary, and then you ejaculate, and then we're done. Like, they tend to do the same thing over and over again. Now, I'm not saying that every single time you have to have sex, it has to be wildly different than the time before that. But what I am saying is change up the routine. Do it in a different place, maybe at a different time. Try some different positions, or try, maybe you do multiple positions, do them in a different order. Just change things up from the way that you normally do it, so that you are keeping it interesting, so that you are, sort of tricking your mind, rather than your mind thinking, I know what's coming next, right? It's like, oh, wait a minute, we're going to do something different. Oh, I didn't expect that, right? So just change up the routine. This really helps. Number three, along with changing up the routine, don't be afraid to experiment and explore and try some things that maybe you haven't done before. They could be toys, they could be role play, like I said, a new location, maybe some sexy lingerie. If you really want to get risque and daring, maybe a threesome or a sex club or something like that. But the point is, if you really want to make it fun again, change it up, not just change up what you normally do, but try adding new things in, things that are exciting to you, things that maybe are even a little bit edgy and a little bit scary, things that you're like, I can't believe we're actually going to try this tonight, right? But those things can really amp up something that has become sort of stale and routine. Okay, number four is to reconnect to what you loved about sex with your partner in the beginning. And this is maybe a little bit more abstract than some of the others. But when you get together with somebody, generally the passion is pretty high. and you're just loving having sex with that person. Over time, it becomes a bit more routine, maybe a little stale, maybe a little boring, and you've lost sight of how it used to be and the things that you used to enjoy about it. And so I think it's really a good practice to, if you're in that space, to just pause for a moment and think about what were the things that you really loved early on about having sex with your partner. And is there a way that if you're not doing some of those things, that you can bring them back in? Sometimes it's just a feeling, how you felt about your partner at that time. But other times you realize, oh yeah, I remember, when we first got together, we were having sex everywhere, on the living room floor, in the kitchen, wherever, in the shower. And now I realize we only ever do it in the bed, right? Like, you might start to come to some of those realizations that things really have changed. And if you want it to be the way it was before, or at least maybe a new version of that, that reconnecting with some of those things that you loved about it can really, really help you get back to that place. All right, and lastly, number 5. I talk about this fairly regularly on the channel, but it's what I call the constant state of arousal. How does that make sex fun again? Well, the constant state of arousal is basically this. If you picture an arousal scale from 0, like completely not turned on, sex doesn't even exist, to a 10, I just orgasmed and it was amazing, right? This is a scale. And what a lot of people try to do is, it's date night, so we're supposed to have sex, but I've had a really busy week and I'm really tired and I'm at like a 0 or 1 on the arousal scale. And, in order to start having sex, I need to at least be somewhere up around a 5 or 6, right? And it's sometimes hard to get your arousal level moving up that scale into a place where you actually want to have sex. So the constant state of arousal is doing little things day in and day out with your partner that stoke that fire, right? And keep you in sort of a perpetual state of turn on, so that when it does come time for sex, you're already amped up. So what do I mean? Well, it could mean, walking by your partner and grabbing his or her butt or their crotch, or, pushing your woman, up against the wall passionately and giving her a deep kiss. It could be complimenting him or her and telling them, how much you love and appreciate them. Little things like that, where you're stoking that fire and that desire. It could be saying, hey, tomorrow night is date night, and you know what I would love to do to you, right? Like stuff like that. Things to really amp that up, so that you're building up this anticipation, so that by the time you get to sex, like, you just already want to tear each other's clothes off and have an amazing time. So there you go. Those are 5 things that you can do to make sex fun again. Remember, sex is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something that we do, 1, for enjoyment, 2, because we love our partners and we want to make them feel good, but it's supposed to be all about fun and love and pleasure. So, if it's not that way for you, then it's time for a shift. And as always, if you want to find out more about me and what I am up to, go to my website at kevinanthonycoaching.com/link in bio. From there, you can find links to my coaching programs, to my podcast, to the great products that I sell to help your relationship and sex life, and so much more. Media appearances, it's all right there.